Now that so many people have had a taste of telecommuting, many don't want to go back to the office. This is creating a problem for employers, as working remotely is becoming a requirement for many employees. I wasn't planning to make a tech news video so soon, but this topic is just too good to ignore. A Bloomberg headline reads, "Americans are willing to take pay cuts to never go into the office again." It cites an online survey from the insurance company Breeze. Their website has a blog post entitled, "To Remain Remote, Employees Are Ready to Give Up Benefits, Paid Time Off, and Salary." What I find interesting is how this article references a different Bloomberg article. Employees are quitting instead of giving up working from home. Links to the articles and the survey are in the description. I started feeling skeptical as the two organizations mention each other. Are people really willing to take a pay cut for telecommuting? Do that many people really want to work from home? That's when I decided to do a little investigating. I contacted many friends and family. In particular, these were people that were working with technology. Most, if not all, had experience with working remotely. I started the conversation with the following question. I'm doing a newsy video for Photics TV. I'll quote you and post it anonymously. Would you take a pay cut to work remotely permanently? Here are their responses. Protecting their identities is important, as these people are still employed. This is a quest for the truth. I'm not trying to start a tech worker rebellion. These are real people facing the effects of a changing work environment. Their answers were candid and informative, as there were some responses that I hadn't considered. As an example, here's a great reply. It was stated that not only should there not be a pay cut, but that telecommuters should be compensated for the expense of running a home office. Admittedly, I was surprised by that, but the argument is reasonable. Home internet may not be up to the par of modern demands. The responder mentioned a concern with bandwidth caps. If you're spending your days video conferencing and accessing your office files remotely, that's a lot of data. In the evening, if you're streaming video or downloading big video games, that's gigs of data. Just maintaining the apps alone consumes a lot of data. Standard macOS apps are a perfect example. Numbers, Pages, Keynote, that's almost a gig. Final Cut Pro is around 3 gigs, and Xcode is over 11 gigs. That's just one computer. So the idea of internet service providers implementing bandwidth caps, that can be a serious concern. The Breeze survey has a question that's related to this issue. Question number 23 asks, would you give up Netflix or your favorite streaming service for the next year if it meant your current or next prospective employer gave you the option of working remotely full-time? Just short of half said no. 48% would rather endure a grueling commute or smelly communal bathroom just to have Netflix. That surprised me. Although, I suppose, YouTube would be my favorite streaming service. That's a tough decision. Would I give it up? I don't know. What would you do? On the other extreme, over a third would give up voting. This next question is astonishing. Would you give up your right to vote in all future local and national elections for the rest of your life if it meant your current or next prospective employer gave you the option of working remotely full-time? 34% said that they'd give up that liberty just to work at home. That's how serious telecommuting is for a third of the people surveyed. Or perhaps that's more of a testimonial on the election process. Disturbing question, but interesting. Anyway, Breeze surveyed far more people than I did. This video is more of a spot check. Most of the people I contacted were not really interested in a pay cut. If they were, it was tiny at best. The ones that were considering it were thinking about the commute. That daily grind is expensive, time-consuming, dull, and dangerous. Depending on the distance and the job, a 5% pay cut can be less than the cost of commuting. Another issue is life-work balance. One responder said that the ability to eat whenever they wanted or do laundry is an important factor. Instead of wasting time riding a crowded bus or train, you can get some basic household chores done. Another responder stated, if those variables were different, my answer probably would be as well. I think that's what's so interesting about this dilemma. A lot of people are happy to be at work, while others are happier to telecommute. Different lifestyles, at home or at the office, can change one's opinion. Overall, the feedback here was similar to the Breeze survey. It does look like most people would take a pay cut to telecommute. That part seemed obvious to me, But what's specific here is that most people wouldn't likely take that big of a pay cut to do it. That part surprised me. I wrote to Mike Brown at Breeze to ask follow-up questions about this survey. I asked, "Are you happy with how this survey turned out?" He said, "I wouldn't say I'm happy or sad with how the survey results turned out. My job is just to objectively analyze the survey results and present them to the public." Thanks goes to those anonymous friends and family that participated in this informal survey too. This is a complicated issue, one of the defining moments of a generation, which is why it's important to cover it. One more thing though, for the ones that wouldn't take a pay cut, they usually had a reason to be on site, but one reason was especially troubling. The responder stated, "No, I would not take a pay cut to work remotely. That's one step closer to being obsolete." Yeah, that's a serious concern. If your work can be done remotely, someone in a country with much lower salaries could do it too. Also, don't forget about those robots. Job automation is another concern. Would you take a pay cut to have permanent telecommuting? You can let the world know in the comments. And also, if you want to see more entertaining and informative tech news videos like this one, subscribe to Photics TV.